Could a spice help to rebuild Afghanistan? Could it decrease the production of poppy for opium? This next story is about 3 Chicago veterans who have started a business with just such lofty goals. Jay Shefsky recently went out to find out more, that is, and here is another look.
In a former meat processing plant in the Back of the Yards neighborhood, a group of women meticulously packaged tiny amounts of the prized spice saffron. The company is called Rumi Spice. It was started by 3 Afghan war veterans, including West Point grads and longtime best friends, Kimberly Jung and Emily Miller.
She didn't know that we were best friends, but I knew we were. And then we became best friends.
Kimberly was a platoon leader looking for and disarming roadside bombs. During Emily's 2 deployments, she was a cultural support team leader with special operations, working closely with Afghan women and children. They both came to love the Afghan culture and also to see the limits of the military's rebuilding efforts, especially in rural areas.
I know personally, a little frustrated that I felt like the military wasn't solving the long-term problems that Afghanistan needed.
We were very proud for our service and very proud of our fellow service members. But we wanted to continue that service through a different avenue, which was through business.
After the Army, both women were accepted to Harvard Business School, where one day they got a call from their friend Keith Alaniz, still deployed in Afghanistan.
And he told us about this farmer named Haji Yosef, and he just recently started growing saffron, but he had not found any markets for it.
Within months, and still in school, the 3 of them launched Rumi Spice.
We first started with 11 farmers, so it was a pretty small operation. And we did so well that this past year we've grown to 34 farmers, which is great. And next year we're probably going to be over 60 farmers.
It's the best smell in the world. I love it.
Yeah, that smell.
Oh my God. At $109 an ounce, saffron is easily the world's most expensive spice. But luckily for the saffron-loving cook, a little goes a long way.
You only need a tiny bit to impart this really amazing floral kind of sweet flavor to a dish. And so that's why it's absolutely amazing in paella or risotto Milanese or in every single Indian dessert like frini.
These precious red saffron strands come from a kind of crocus flower. Why so expensive? Well, each flower has just 3 strands or stigmas, which must be removed by hand in the early morning once a year. So to produce this 1 bag of saffron, half a kilo, required 75,000 flowers. This 10-kilo box, 1.5 million flowers.
It's called red gold. And so that's where it gets the name, because you can tell if it's quality saffron by the deep red color. And so that sometimes people adulterate it to make it look like it's a deep red color, but maybe it's not, but they'll get a higher price for it.
In fact, before the Rumi Spice saffron is packaged, it gets another painstaking examination to pick out any imperfect strands. Growing saffron in Afghanistan is still relatively uncommon, while neighboring Iran grows most of the world's saffron.
And even though it's the same growing region, so it's dry and hot, Afghan farmers have not been able to grow it simply because they lack the knowledge. Shakur.
Hello? Oh.
Hey.
So Rumi Spice has a full-time employee in Afghanistan.
He actually is a farmer himself as well. And Shakur goes out and he works with the farmers. He's an agricultural specialist. So he's been teaching the farmers these past couple of years how to grow saffron very well.
But they emphasize that this is not a charity or aid organization.
This is export and economics and capitalism at its finest. We are buying saffron directly from these Afghan farmers who are growing some of the best saffron that is now found in Michelin-star-rated restaurants across the country. And it's coming here to Chicago, where we have been able to employ people and create jobs here in Chicago.
Yet Rumi Spice is incorporated as a public benefit corporation, which means it has a mission in its charter beyond maximizing profits, like improving the lives of Afghan farmers. The average Afghan farm family, they say, makes $500 a year. Growing saffron for Rumi brings them roughly $2,000 a year. But the mission is even more ambitious than that. 90% of the world's opium originates in Afghanistan. Rumi wants to give farmers a viable alternative.
The U.S. military has probably spent millions, if not billions of dollars on poppy eradication in Afghanistan. And And thus far, it's been largely unsuccessful. And they've done things like set fire to the crops, or just outright try to destroy the fields. But at the end of the day, we truly believe that farmers need an economic alternative, and saffron is definitely the way.
They say farmers can make up to 7 times more money growing saffron than poppy.
We're not in this to make lots of money. We're in this because we believe that connecting Afghan farmers to the international marketplace is something that's worth fighting for. It's worth fighting for our global security. It's worth fighting for everyone's future, and then it's going to make economic sense.
For Chicago Tonight, this is Jay Shefsky.